Black Dog by Led Zeppelin. One of the first songs I ever learned to play. It was actually the first lick I ever learned on a guitar. And I was about 15 years old. It wasn't the first song. I was learning it in Stairway to Heaven. And I got the tabs, the Led Zeppelin Complete Tab book, and I thought that was the holy grail. And I had all my Led Zeppelin stuff like any kid, in the late 70s, early 80s. I had all my albums. And I was playing drums at the time. Actually, John Bonham was my hero, and Neil Peart. And I went to a friend's house, and he had Song Remains the Same on VHS, which of course I knew the album, but the movie definitely had some music on it that the album didn't have, or that I didn't listen to anyway. But the part that struck me was when they came to Boogie Chillin' and that break there that they do, and he went into Black Dog, and then they change it, they stop it. So I was kind of bummed out by that, but I was just so enamored when I watched that video that I immediately said, "Can you teach me how to play that?" And my buddy was a heavy metal guitar player. He was very good. He still is. And he was a phenomenal guitar player. I'll plug his name. His name's David Miller. But, he showed me how to play it, and he showed me in a way that heavy metal, it wasn't in my tab book. And it wasn't until after I got to learn guitar, about 6 months later, I was obsessed with Jimmy Page. Wanted to learn everything that Jimmy Page was doing. And turn the overdrive off. I hung out with other cats and was talking to them about the movie, and I noticed immediately as I started playing along with the movie, Page was one of those guys that hid his licks. And it wasn't until later on that I learned that, the things that he was doing in the studio compared to live were completely different. He wasn't always using the same guitars. He had different kinds of equipment. He wasn't using a Les Paul all the time. In fact, he didn't use it much, from what I understand. But, there's so much about Page we don't know. He never told anybody. He did his own recording, his own mixing. He had his own studio. So he did his own private work. So we really don't know everything that Page was doing. But so this is one of those, I still cannot play this. I've been playing this lick for 35 years and I still can't play it right. My right hand goes faster than my left. I'm good with that, and I'm good with vibrato. So my hands do that really fast. So when it comes to picking, so I learned a cheating way to do it. And I'm going to do this without distortion so you can hear what's going on. That's kind of the way I learned it, but that wasn't the way the tab is. Over the years, I had this song down by the time I was 18 or 19, and I could play it lick for lick, the solo and everything. But then I grew out of it and got into blues because I wanted to know what was Page doing, what was his influence. And then, it wasn't until long in life that I realized it was bebop and the rockabilly scale and jazz. But it brings me back to the guy who taught me how to play this. And it's hard for me to play this sitting down. This is one of those songs that's really difficult to play sitting down. I don't know if it's something about the angle with the neck, but it's just one of those songs. But there's two ways you can play it, and you got to have a lot of distortion. You can pick that, or you can roll it down. And that's kind of how I learned to do it. Because I pick too fast. And I also hold the pick sideways. I hold it like that, like Dwayne Allman did. So you got to hold it like that, which I am not. I really don't like holding it like that unless I'm playing something really fast. been playing this song for a long time, and I still don't play it. I mean, I did at one time play this really good, but that's the way the tab shows it, and that's what you'll see a lot of people play. But I never liked the way this song ended, the lick. I didn't like it. It's kind of syncopated. He plays these notes really quick, and then there's a, and that's the way everybody shows you how to play it. And I didn't pick it up that way. I'll play it different ways. And then when it comes in, it's pretty simple. And another way you can play it, just go to E right there. But I hear ghost notes, you know. Ever since I was a kid, I can hear a song, I won't hear it for 40 years, and what it develops in my head is nowhere close to what's going on. But that's what bugged me about this song, and hearing people I'd watch it play, and I'd be like, that's not what I'm hearing on the album. And it wasn't until later I realized that Page was using more than one guitar. Like Jimi Hendrix, he has 3 guitars going in the back, and so I hear these ghost notes that are going on. So I heard something completely different, and I just hear that. I don't hear the. I hear. Like that at the end. It's kind of like a syncopation, like it's out of beat, like it's out of rhythm, but it ends correctly. So he's got kind of a kind of a syncopated jazz thing going on with it. But you can learn it in any way you want. I can put on the distortion, but I've learned that putting on the distortion with this, go ahead and give it a shot. It bleeds out, it clips on the mic. See, I did that a lot. When I was younger, that's how I kind of learned how to do it. But he doesn't do that. He actually picks it. And I also bend those notes. And there's some vibrato that he does in there. But that's the basic lick. And you'll see people play it this way. A bunch of different ways to play this. The main thing is to end on that beat. And Page is notorious for being a sloppy guitar player, out of rhythm sometimes, but I cut him some slack. I don't think he is. I think he's he's doing some off beats and some kind of jazz things. But now this is what I see people play. I didn't learn it that way. I learned it this way, and this is where it's hard to sit down and play it. Pull-offs. But like I said, I learned it from a heavy metal guitar player. You can also play it like a jazz thing. You know, I'd rather play it this way. And you play that D. Now that I just, let me turn that distortion down because it's probably bleeding out. I really simply just play it. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can put your thumb there, you can play a G. You don't have to play the bottom G. Just play that top. Couple ways you can play that, but you play it open, and I just play those two strings. I used to play that. I used to play all of it like that. But it doesn't sound as good. It's not as rock and rolly, and it's not as sloppy. You know, the whole point is to be kind of simple, because he's got, like I said, he's got more guitars going in the background. I got ready to do that, because you can do that too. It's a C. You just... You can do that. It doesn't sound as cool. Now, the solo. Now, the way I learned to play this, I've seen the way some cats play it, and I saw it in the tab. I used to know it in the tab, and that's been a long time ago. But I've changed it over the years, because once I started learning how to do it, I got into B.B. King. I got into a lot of other things. It was the late 80s blues thing was going on. Stevie Ray Vaughan was really popular. Robert Johnson box set came out. Eric Clapton started playing blues. Richie Sambora, he went from playing things with Bon Jovi to Wanted Dead or Alive, and he ends up playing with Clapton. So there was a blues explosion. But at that time, I got into a lot of B.B. King. I wanted to know the roots of what's Page playing. What are these notes that I'm hearing? And people kept saying, listen to B.B. King. I didn't hear it in there. I heard some stuff, but it was the bebop thing that I was missing, that I didn't see until later on with interviews with Page. So I learned the solo like that. And then I started playing it like that. Now I know I've seen people play it where it's... But to me, that's not the way I kind of saw it. And I play like a major scale. Now, and that was another one. But there's those ghost notes. Now that's just like a major scale. And played it up here. You can also do it that way. And then it's just a lot of B.B. King. You know. Come up with your own thing on the solo. You know, just hit the main things in the beginning. Or nobody's going to know what you're playing. It's just not going to sound right. And turn some light on and get some juice going with that. Did I hit the overdrive? I did. Sorry, I don't mean to blow you out here. Now these licks, the song is in A, you know, A is the 1. So you find this A right here. That's a common Jimmy Page thing that he learned from, you know, a lot of guitar players that they learned from B.B. King. That's a rockabilly type of lick, and he plays that quite a bit. But your pattern is you go here to the 11th fret, which so you're looking for this pattern right here. Use your pinky right there. And learn that lick. It's better loud with a lot of distortion. See, and it sounds better than that. And it adds a little bit. What it does is you're adding more classical sound to it. You're taking the blues pentatonic scale, you're putting that third 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, back to the B. So you're skipping this. You're not playing a pentatonic anymore. You're starting to play more classical jazz type sounding things. Now I'm not saying that's the way he plays it. He does, because he's got another guitar in the background. That's what a lot of people will miss on this solo. He's actually got another guitar, and he is playing off of a major scale, an A major. Like that. But it's the beat, and that's the whole point of the... He's playing kind of a strange type of beat, the way he finishes it. Those are really quick notes. And he holds that. And that is a type of jazz that, you know, he obviously, if you know anything about Jimmy Page with the Yardbirds and Jeff Beck and all them, they were into jazz. So, but, you know, I don't know what else much to say about the solo. Just practice it. I don't play it well. I haven't played it in years, to be honest with you. I picked it up today and looked at it because I saw a video of some guy playing it, and I was like, I don't know, you know. I just always thought that sounded better, you know, but that's just me. And I'm not as good with this sitting, like I said, sitting down. You got to stand up to do this. It just, for some reason, it flows a lot better. And that's in Rock and Roll, the next song on the album, so. You'll hear it in the album. But anyway. He wears that lick out, and that is a B.B. King lick. And pay attention to the double stops in the solo. They're there. See, I screwed that up. And you can go to that D only on the last one. I hear that a lot. You can play that. Standard D, but at the end, then ended on that. Other than that, you know, just practice it. See, and I did it wrong there. That's not the way they show you how to do it. But, you know, mess with it. You can play it any way you want, as long as it ends on that beat. Just end on that beat. That's the most important part. And Page seems to just kind of do different things in the background. If you listen, it's the basic. It does sound like a Les Paul because I'm hearing that clinking, but he's got other things going on in the background there too. You'll hear that. You won't all the time. You'll hear a anyway, just thought I'd make the video. You guys have a good night.